My mother's sister, Agnes, lived on 116th and St. Nicholas. She had lived there since the early 40s. I always came back to Harlem because I had aunts, cousins who were part of my extended family and everything. So when I came here doing what I felt was going to be my life's work in theater in 1979, I got my apartment in Harlem.
You dreamers, bring me all your heart melodies.
The community in Harlem is an old community. African Americans have been living in Harlem since the early part of the 20th century. We know Harlem from the Harlem Renaissance and all the great artists and poets and thinkers who came out of here. Recreate that energy or revitalize that energy in the 21st century is an exciting proposition. And when we're talking right now, who are we? King talked about the beloved community. Dr. King talked about the whole idea of community of chaos. And certainly we have to move more and more toward community. And the way we've constructed our process of seeing ourselves in relationship to the world, nature, each other, has reinforced the kind of direction in our humanity that may be detrimental to us. Those are the kind of things, the further things that we have to think about in terms of my image studio. The moment I walked in here, there was a certain kind of energy, people here, using the space, congregated in the space. The energy feels amazing. Mist seems very appropriate for this particular moment. And the community that's trying to find its voice. Mist has to separate itself in a different kind of way. It has to bring all the kind of ambiances and all the kind of things that attract us in the 21st century. But how do we now use this as a transformative moment? Not simply as a commodity-based process, but somewhere in which we bring ourselves together. You can have town hall meetings here, you can have different kind of events here, not only simply just cultural events, but people here who are exchanging ideas, who are trying to figure out what do we do? Because Carlton Brown and I were talking about this a decade ago, the possibility of showing young artists, young filmmakers, to give them a run, to give them an opening where they begin to get attention to their work. We need to bring those artists there who allow us to kind of think out of the box, who will allow us to kind of reimagine ourselves, encourage filmmakers, young filmmakers, encourage them to be adventurous, to have workshops, as you mentioned, and all the things that are possible here from that vantage point. What we lack is the kind of interchange, expression of ideas. You know, this is the moment for ideas. What are ideas that even may contradict the status quo, maybe contradict those who've been in power? Put them on their heels and realize that it's not the same old game anymore. You can go down 116th Street now and you can hear Wolof, the language of Senegalese, or you can hear the language of men and women from Mali, other places in West Africa, and as well as East Africa and Ethiopia. So all those are part of what Harlem is, and the translation of all these particular cultures makes it appropriate that we would have Mist here, that we would have Madiba Cafe here. When Mandela came here, where did he come? He came to Harlem. When he came here after he was released in 1990, he came to Harlem. It's important, just not in itself as a symbol of what we were able to accomplish in a struggle to end this injustice, but something much larger than that. It symbolizes where we need to go at this particular point in time as well. And certainly we can go beyond what had happened ending apartheid and ending segregation and injustice here. Having this community space, maybe we have another kind of voice that demands that we go further. Mandela is an image that's not set in stone. It's an image of where we can go, or where our imagination can go. This is a space that is appropriate for that kind of discourse, the bringing together of young, the bringing together of people multi-generationally, multi-ethnically, and to talk about the Harlem that we want, the vision of the world that we want through Harlem, through our eyes, through our imagination right here. Boom, what a great idea.
Choosing today to be happy.